everyone to another session of the Out of the Box Developer. Today is a subject that we all love, refactoring. Who doesn't love to refactor a messy and old code? Everyone, I'm pretty sure of that. Everyone does not like it. So, if you want to suffer less, I believe that today's talk can give you some very insightful hints. And starting with our great team here we have a guy that is talking about that. He has gave a talk on Soul Java Brasilia meetup, and he's going to talk on the Soul Java Campinas meetup that probably I will join you in person. Here is Luis Real. Hi Luis, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm fine, and you? Hello, everyone. So, yes, I've been talking about that for some time. It's a topic that I love, and I have some projects that I love doing that. So, in the past years, I've been studying that and learning uh, new things about that. Actually, Thiago was there with me at Sojava Brasilia, and he gave me a lot of good hints about that. So I think today would be a great discussion.
Awesome, awesome. I'm looking forward to learn today with you because I really needed to do lots of refactorings. I truly believe that everyone here needed to work on that at some point. And the more we learn on how to do that, less painful, the better. And now let's give a warm welcome from the mountains of Switzerland to Sila. How are you doing, Sila?
I am fine, thank you, Igor, and hi everyone who is joining today. So I'm happy to be here, and you are right. So I have been doing a lot of refactoring in my life, and I think there are still a lot of refactorings in front of me. So I'm happy to be here and to learn with you and share experiences.
Awesome. I truly believe that refactoring is part of every developer's life. We can't live without them unless you're very lucky and you're always getting a new project starting from scratch. But eventually, even in new projects, if you're implementing something, a month later something has changed and you will also need to refactor some of the code you written just a month ago. And following with this guy, he is an co-author with the book Mastering RESTful Web Services with me from Portugal to Brazil. Right now, here is Tiago Bonfim. How are you doing, Tiago?
Hello everyone. How are you? Yeah, great to be here. This subject that everyone need to know about. I don't love refactoring, but I love clean code and code that is easy to maintain. So refactoring is a must-have. And hello for the audience, and maybe start asking one question. So if you are watching us, please can you put on the chat if you have already done some refactoring? Just yes or no if you have already done some refactoring.
Absolutely. For those of you that are watching us, I would like to know, do you love or do you hate refactoring? Let us know in the comments so we will answer you. And here we're following with the master of AI, Hugo. How are you doing?
Oh, hello, hey everyone. Thanks for the title, Igor. Yeah, I'm looking forward for today's session. I think refactoring it is a very present topic on our day to day, and we have this mixed feeling, right? I believe there is also a good refactoring and maybe dangerous refactoring. So everything may they are always risk, and we have to balance it. So I'm looking forward to discuss about it as well.
Absolutely, Hugo. Since you mentioned those on the careful and dangerous refactors, that especially applies when you're changing middlewares that are shared between many services, especially if these services are consumed by different customers. uh, that's a refactor that needs to be done very carefully and tested accordingly. So, what what do you what can you bring us, Luis, about your talk, about the stuff you're writing about refactor, that can help us to make the path more pleasant or more organized, or how should we approach refactoring? I would like to learn more about that.
Okay, so first about loving refactor, I think it's a fun thing to do. So for me, it's about that. So when I see some smelly codes, some messy codes, I can't stay still. I want to rewrite everything. So the first thing I like to say when I start my talk is that you have to have an strategy about refactoring. You don't like me that love doing refactoring. You can't do it all the time. So you have to have this strategy. Like you don't open a task only to do refactoring. I like to do refactoring when I have to work on that particular code. So I'm doing, I don't know, I have to implement a new feature, or I have to uh, extend an existing one, and I get this time, this same task, and then I do refactoring also. So this is my main strategy. How this works for you?
So you mean you're
Yeah.
changing code at a certain point? If that code looks like good for you to do that refactor, you just do on that piece of code. You don't do the whole refactor, of course, because that becomes very painful, right? I believe that's the strategy.
I use the opportunity that I'm already working on that particular code and do refactoring.
Yeah, I've did that approach many times as well. When that's not a dangerous or very intrusive, like Hugo mentioned. So in that way, you can start. It's divide to conquer, right? The strategy divide to conquer. You just split that in smaller tasks, and you'll be touching the code from point to point, and to have the code updated. But I wonder, when you have to change, let's say you have a Java service and you need to update to Java from Java 11 to Java 21 or 23, that is more intrusive or impactful change. How do you approach these type of changes that they require more changes on the service itself?
I think there are two characteristics there that you have to take into account. That if you do refactoring, uh, your uh, technical debit is not so um, it's not so high. So it's easier to go from like Java 8 to 9 than to from 6 to 21. So doing refactoring has this um, good point, right? In the second, I would mention is the test. Test is very very good. If you have test, you can use that because while you are refactoring, the system has to have the same result. That functionality can't change. Okay, you can use refactoring to have better performance, but the result of that functionality needs to be the same.
Oh, okay, Luis bring a very important topic here. So, as I understood, Luis, you said two things. One is maybe try to break things in small things so you can do baby steps instead of migrating from 11 to 23. Maybe try 11 to 17 and then 17 to 21 and then go on. It probably be easier, less chance. I think this strategy is very important. It can help you to minimize the bugs and maybe the break chains that can have. And maybe then you can also do with the frameworks and the libraries. If you try to update everything at once, you have more chance to have break chains and it will be harder. And the second point, and I think the second point, in my opinion, it's the most important, is about testing. Because I think if you do not have tests, chances are when you have a big migration like that, that you have some break chains. And it's hard to deal with break chains if you do not have tests. Because something will break and you think, okay, the code is compiled, I have everything updated, no problem. However, there are big chance of just because you upgrade library or even some plugin. For example, Igor was talking about that we are writing a book about REST, and I think it's very common for developers that write REST API to use the plugin to generate the code using the Swagger. And maybe if you update the version of this plugin, this simple plugin, you can have a different behavior and maybe a behavior that you are not expecting. Maybe update it and it updates the way that it generates files or it works because I don't know, maybe until this version support very well the version 3.0, but now there is the version, for example, 3.2, and there is more features, more things, some fix that you are not expecting, and then you can have a bad behavior. And if you do not have test, this can be a very bad thing. So having test is a very, very important. And because we're talking about test, I want also to bring another subject to the table that it's very common to refactor code from legacy projects. I think this is very, very common. However, Michael Fetters have a definition for legacy code that is a legacy code. It's a code without test. So my question is, how can I refactor a code without test? This is the book or not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is the
yeah.
book. It's in Portuguese. It is the in
Okay,
Portuguese
okay. The cover
over.
is different. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it is. But it's Michael Feather's book, and every time when we talk about refactoring, I think this book is really a great reference for that, and it does actually address a lot of real scenarios of the real world scenarios, right? Because most of us, including myself, we do work with some legacy code that doesn't have testing, doesn't have updated documentation over the behavior or the rule that was expected for this piece of code. And yeah, and it is challenging because even though we know that having tests will save you breaking stuff, also implementing tests on this kind of code base are expensive, very expensive. It is not easy task, right? So I don't know if you have some some thought regarding to these kind of scenarios? What kind of experience have you had in the past or during in your own project that might be and strategies that you use it to make it possible? Because in my experience, if if you have some you have to always balance deadlines, effort, priorities, and the cost of of the project. So it's not simple. Oh, it is good, it's very great in the end, but can we wait until the end, or can we afford for the great results to the end? It will actually be returning over the investment. So all of these are the real world questions, right? I think that comes into when we talk about refactoring. But I like to connect with this. I like to bring also the concept of what was the name of the author? It was the Kent Beck. Uh, uh,
What is
he
the book? Do you know?
tidy first.
Yes, yes, it's Ken Beck.
Yeah. So he talked about, instead of doing big refactoring or refactoring that is don't have to be big, but that can cause some harm, and tidy refactoring, that is the very very small, that probably it is beneficial and won't take you so much time, right? So I think that's also interesting topic to discuss about. I don't know if you practice. I'm pretty very close with what Luis does. When I have to do something, I was okay. I have to understand. So if I understand and I have some that piece of code, and I see there's places that I can improve it, I try to improve it. But yeah, always trying to be balancing also the time that you spend trying to improve something that you have control over, right? I learned it in the worst path, or in the worst way, that you shouldn't be refactoring stuff that you are not owning or controlling as well. So I I broke stuff in the past that I was, man, why did I did touching that part of code that wasn't even mine, my
Who
even
never? Who
doing.
never?
Everyone, everyone, probably
So
everyone went through.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, learn for our mistakes. Don't do
Yes,
that.
yes, yes. It
Though,
was a
thus
mistake, and
lightly
it was a
said.
mistake that was that was
Yes. Oh,
that was
when
in the production, and when in front
yes.
of yeah.
Just refactor the thing that you are going to work
Yeah.
on so you can test and guarantee that this works.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
That's
chances are you are going to break something that is working just because you think the code is not clean enough. And
And it
yeah,
that's
was
just
this
a
interesting.
normal day in a developer's life, Hugo. Don't worry.
No, yeah, and it was
that,
interesting. And I think one thing that drives us, one very human-like behavior, is that we got overconfident at some point in our career, right? And we think, oh, I know everything, I know what I'm doing. And then I wrote a lot of tests that will, oh, this have to do this and that. So I write a test, it passed everything that I wrote, so it's fine. Bruh.
And
And then
since
it
you
was
mentioned tests,
one
Hugo,
case. Yep.
you mentioned tests, and Tiago also mentioned tests. Luis also mentioned tests, and but even when you update versions on the library, these test libraries, if the tests are all linked to the service, they tend to break or doesn't
Yeah,
work
yeah.
anymore. So there comes
There's
the
dependencies. Yeah.
yeah, if you do have a separate project like a cucumber or something that just tests the behavior, that looks nice because you can do all the refactor you want and your tests are separately. You will be testing its behavior independently of how you change the code for better or for newer versions. So that's something to consider too. And the other thing I would like to add is when we were telling about going to 6 to 9, maybe my service for the purpose that I'm doing the refactor doesn't need to go to Java 23. Maybe I will benefit from having it up to Java 17, and that's perfectly fine unless if there are a vulnerability that appears on that previous version that you have upgraded, so you will need another refactor. But if it is not, if it looks good and the upgraded version matches, and also Hugo mentioned how is the refactor being accepted by your company, by your managers, they look that as good or they don't care about it and you have to develop it to the deadline on the version that is currently there. So you have all of these nuances that you have to put in balance.
I have something to say about that, because about cost, I usually bring to the daily and I present to the project manager, and I say, hey, about this code, this task, look at this code. So I think we should refactor first. Then I can analyze better and do this task. And the manager says what I have to do. In some cases, if it's small refactoring, I can do without telling him. So I usually do that. And about the case you told, I had one case about that. We had a legacy system in Java 6, and we did some study, and we decided that migrate from Java 6 to Java 8 would be benefit for us, but we couldn't go further. So we did that from Java 6 to Java 8, and the system continues to work in Java 8 until now.
Yeah, and you have a lot of benefits. You have streams, you have a more
Yeah.
updated version. So
Yes,
let's
and then
just,
I use the streams in my refactoring the same system.
you weren't able to use that with Java 6 before. Java 6 is too old. Yeah. Let's just say hi to one of our top comments here. Hi, Andres. Andres, happy 2000.
I never know when we can talk.
2025. Hi,
Yes,
Andres. He
I
also
never
shared.
know when is the last day or month that we can say Happy New Year.
There
Because
are.
Yeah.
no, it's February, but for those who haven't said that, Happy New Year also.
Mhm.
Happy New Year too for
And
those
yeah,
of
I
us that
love this
were
comment. Keep
yes,
calm
Yeah.
and
keep calm
refactor.
and
It's
refactor.
from Scott Wirsham, who is
Yeah,
very known professional regarding refactoring. So he loves legacy code and he has a lot of experience on how to do refactoring. So he gives
amazing.
advice to you. So
Yeah.
Scott has an old taste for loving refactoring. But
yeah.
we need. You don't really learn something until it is the hard way. Totally agree. I can tell you.
That's for me.
Jesus Christ. I've been
Mhm.
working on an upgrade version this last week, and that's totally a nightmare. But
Mhm.
it's part of it. So it's funny that we're talking about this today. It's very related.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Amazing.
we have shared here the link of the book that we are talking about from Michael Fetters, and
Uh,
also more things to share. We are talking about refactoring and also migrating. It's kind of different things. Both are similar, but it's not the same thing. And when we are talking about migration, there is a very nice tool. Maybe you can talk more about that. That you can use maybe AI to do that, but this tool does not use AI completely. But I think Amazon Q does that. they have some agents that use this tool that it's open rewrite. So you can use open rewrite to refactor to migrate. Sorry.
To
So
migrate.
if you want to migrate from Java 17 to 21, this tool has some recipes and it does this migration to you. And not only that, but they also update things to use the newest features. And you can also use it to migrate from Spring versions. I know that Spring 3.4 there is a task for that. I don't know what is the status this task nowadays. I know that some weeks before or months they are in development, but it's a good way if you need to migrate for something that is not the newest thing. For example, if you want to migrate from Java 17 to 21, 21 it's not the newest one, so they probably have a recipe for that. And the same for Spring 2.7 to 3.x, so you can do that. And just another important thing that Igor mentioned, it's about vulnerabilities and the version of Spring 2.7. It's not a stable version anymore. It's not that it's not a stable version, but they are not maintaining this version anymore. So if you're using Spring 2.7, you should migrate. Otherwise, you can have vulnerabilities and no one are going to maintain this version. Maybe if you pay Spring, but if your company
Yeah.
pays Spring, but I'm not 100% sure. I
Yeah,
think
you
it's
mentioned
Yeah.
open rewrite for refactoring. I have tested it. If you're not using some word frameworks like we do in the company, it works. If you're just doing a plain microservice with a Spring and very famous frameworks, it should do a lot of good work. And it's very funny because if you're doing these upgrades even on the language, it changes the sentence on your code to use those up to date versions. Let's say instead of it detects that you're concatenating strings and changes it for the that how it says text blocks concatenation way from newer Java versions. It looks promising, but depending on how your service looks, it will not do all the work, but it will give you a hand. So it's good to test because I believe the Amazon queue it's paid, right, Tiago? I'm not sure if it's paid.
Amazon Q, you have free versions, and you have a paid one. I think it's for a more advanced feature, but you can use free version. I was using
Uh,
for a while before. Yesterday, I showcased a client that is AI assistant for Visual Studio Code IDE, and it was impressive the way they make things work on your IDE. And I already have the OpenAI subscription, paid OpenAI subscription, so I started to use it together, and yeah, works wonderfully. But
I would
before that,
like
I
to
was
see
using
that.
Amazon Q. Yeah,
I would like to see that, Hugo. What do
yeah,
you think of showing this us here to the audience? I don't know if you can.
oh yeah, sure. But
If you're
today,
watching
or
us,
yeah,
no,
if you're
no, maybe,
watching us,
maybe in the
okay,
future, not
in the
now.
future, right? Oh, okay, okay, perfect.
so about
hey,
that, uh,
Go
about
ahead.
just
the same subject, about the tool. Oracle also has a tool similar that is the JMS, Java Management System, Java Management Service that has a Java migration analysis feature, and you can use free the free version. Do
looks
some
nice.
similar stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, just to mention.
That's awesome. Guys, if you're watching and you want to learn how to use these AI tools to migrate your codes, to bring these to refactor your code. But if you want us to create this next session in the comment section below, otherwise we will not do. Okay? There will be no session. I want to learn how to use AI to help me refactor my code, because you do need to know. Let us know in the comment section right now, so Hugo and Luis can bring this knowledge for all of us here, and we will learn on how to use these tools here. Do do you guys like the idea, Hugo, Luis?
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting, especially we are right now we are in the year of agentic AI. People are saying since the last year, and Klein was very interesting because it is a very good use case of connecting different services and giving some level of autonomy for these AI assistants. So we will go from simply suggestion in text that you need to copy and paste everything that it does reply to you to something more automatically integrating with your IDE and running commands and creating files and changing files and already committing the creating commits on your repository. So it was very interesting, and all of that actions can be controlled depending on the level of permission that you give for the tool.
Yes, that would be an interesting use case, or reviewing your pull requests for quality to automatically. You can just add an additional step in your pipeline so that it happens automatically. And using those tools, that's interesting, so that you have less to do and you gain some time for other things, for real development. I think it has a good use case.
Time is money. And so in this life, the more you can automate, the better. And these tools are awesome. We do have a comment from Andres here. I tried Amazon Q and Sodi from Source Graph. For now, I prefer eCode. Have you tried that? Hugo, Luis, Thiago,
So
Chile?
E-code is
Yes.
new for me, but Amazon Q I still use for command line interface. So it does autocomplete something that I'm typing on the terminal, and that's still useful. But for E-code, it's new for me. I haven't tried yet. I'm using GitHub Copilot for professional. It was a how would I say, the company's official tool that I can use. It's compliant with my company allowed tools. And yeah, and for personal, I started to use Klein recently, very recently.
So, sounds awesome. Also, Andres comments about open rewrite is awesome. Yeah, we did like it. And say hi to Leandro Fabricio. Hi, Leandro.
Hey.
Do you know, Luis? It was with you in the presentation in So Java Brasilia.
Yeah, he was there. Hello, Leandro. How are you doing?
Awesome, guys. Awesome. Everything that we can learn, as I've mentioned in the beginning of the session, to make the work, the effort of refactoring less painful and more straightforward, it's always welcome. And having AI playing into that game, that's great. We still know that AI is learning too, but it can really help us in a lot of things. And from what you guys are bringing here, it can help us even more than I thought. So it will be awesome to see that in a future session, seeing how can AI help us change from legacy to new code as much as it can.
Yeah, but because you're talking about that also, because AI learn how to maybe create a clean code, how to use the new features, how to do this kind of things. However, we can also do that. So I want to highlight that because I think it's very important for us as professionals to know how to do that, how to create a code that is easy to read, because we spend most of our time reading code and not writing.
Mhm.
So when you are writing code, we need to write something that very easy to read because, like Igor said on the beginning, probably in the next month or in the near future, you need to read this code and maybe refactor this code. And if you do not understand this code, this will be very hard. So it's very important to make things easier to read. So you need to take a look and okay, understand what it does, and also have test. Test it crucial. I think this is very important. I hope everyone here that is watching us does test every day or every time it's writing code. I hope, but yeah, I know that unfortunately this is not true for most of the companies. There are some companies and maybe some projects that they only want to deliver code in production, and if you do not have test, sorry about that, but you are creating a legacy project that no one will be able to maintain without creating more bugs.
Mhm.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
mentioned, Diego, clean code, clean and readable code. That's mandatory. That's fundamental. I've heard a long time ago that you should write your code as you were writing a book. It needs to be clear, it needs to be understandable for anyone, and it needs to be meaningful. If you create a method called x that receives an epsilon variable, that doesn't mean anything. It will work, of course it will work, but that's an enigma, and you don't want to write enigmas. Enigmas, what they do, it's they are deleted. They are garbage code. They need to be meaningful. And absolutely, Tiago, I believe that until today, all the refactor were done by us, by human hands. What I mentioned with these tools that the guys were mentioning here is to help us speed things. Because in today's world, you do need to know how you do that. But uh, who doesn't know how to deal with these AI tools will be left behind. That's what we are seeing in the industry. I don't know what you guys think about it.
Well,
I,
I yeah, go ahead.
no, you can.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, actually I was curious with a comment from Anderson. But yeah,
But
I think AI it's like Thiago mentioned it doesn't you can't see AI as a replacement for understanding and getting the fundamentals of the programming or developing stuff for you. I think that's a very dangerous place to be. For me, yesterday when I talk about these AI tools, for me, it is very important to you to understand that AI is to augment your skills, and so you are a better learner, a better doer, a better in communication, in problem solving. You have to augment yourself to become better in all the skills that you can be, and use AI to support you to become that better person, better professional as soon as possible. So for that, AI is really a great friend for you. And of course you can sometimes for some tasks you can also let AI do some stuff, but remember that that there will need always need someone that will read the code, and understand what's going on behind. Because if there's any issue, any problem, you might need to be very aware of many things to be solving this problem. So and especially for students, that was a very interesting, because I was with a teacher, Andre Noel. It is a teacher for computer science as well. So the most challenging thing is to who are just beginning to not simply use AI to solve all the problems for them, and they doesn't understand anything in the end. So yeah, that's a challenge. So that's the difference between understanding how to use AI effectively for your case.
Yeah,
And yeah, I don't know if we're gonna be moving for the. I see a lot of comments here on the chat.
yeah.
Yes.
Let just take a look on that. And yes, AI is a helper, AI is a tool, but it will introduce bugs most of times. So you need to understand what it's doing and revision it. It's like your staging guy. You need to check what he's doing.
Yeah,
And just taking a look on the comments here. Hi Anderson, Hugo were commenting about this. Your comment, I
Yeah,
believe we all love and hate refactoring.
I
Andres,
think there is yeah, as I said, I don't know if there's common behavior for everyone, something with refactoring that we are. I don't know if it's because, yeah, I don't know what drives us to this force that we would like to refactor stuff, even if it doesn't need to be refactored at all.
I think I know. It's because
Yeah,
we. This is one of the definitions of clean code. Clean code is code right for someone that cares about the code. And when we refactor and we like to refactor, it means that we care about that and we like to see the result. So we refactor, we have some God class, for example, 1000 line, and then we can break and have, I don't know, strategy, whatever, some kind of thing. And then maybe we have, I don't know, trend class, but now it's very well organized when you know everything and we have applied the SRP, the single responsibility principle, and now it's very clean and easy to keep and to maintain, and we like that result because we care. So I think maybe this is the reason why we love it, but we hate that. I think maybe again because it can brings it can be hard, it can bring bugs, and all of the things that I've mentioned.
absolutely, Tiago. Totally agree. And just answering Gonzalez. Hi, Gonzalez. We do read the chat. Hi to you that are in Russia. Keep warm, my friend. Andres mentioned here in my current job, I was originally hired to upgrade the team code base from Spring Boot 2 to 3 without knowing anything of Spring Boot besides what it does, without knowing even microservices or cloud. It wouldn't have been possible without coding and open rewrite. And that's a good thing because I'm truly sure that you have learned a lot on this refactoring, even using these tools. Because any refactor that you get, you need to put a lot of hand on it. You need to dig into the code, into the service. So you end up learning a lot from the business itself and a lot even more from how the service works, how that code works, and how it needs to work in the upgraded versions. So these tools also help you to improve, to learn, and also Andres says more. You human developers will be still need to train the AI to solve the next gen problems unless it learns to solve them by itself. Hopefully, it will take a little bit more of time until it solves everything. But we can see Devin. Devin is there making mistakes, introducing bugs on Nubank. and trying to fix them by himself. Refactoring is a task to perform when you are in certain state of mind, a
Ah,
very a very calm state of mind and rest.
I would like to comment the well actually again about AI. I think many problems they are able to solve itself already, but you have to be able to review it and maybe shipping it to production before. So even if they can solve many problems already itself, I think you always need someone, some person, some human to be in the middle, validating them. Uh, and yeah, about what Thiago mentioned it regard to carrying the code base. I also suspect that sometimes uh, we are too attach it to the code base and treat it as ourselves, and that is when I believe that things start to become dangerous, because you start to refactoring because you believe that it's what is the better way, and not the bet for you, for ourselves, and not for the team, the company, because there are lots of other variables when you are that you are putting in risk when you are just starting to refactor a piece. So I think that is something I realized late. I was very attached to, oh, I built it. I'm with the team. I'm building the code with the team, but I want the code to be a specific way, and and want that to be on my way and not exactly the team way. And that's, I think, a a a a detail that made me shift when I understand that, oh, this is not my code. This code is our team code, the company's code. So we have to, every time when you do make trade off now, I try to understand that first, because yeah, I don't know why, but we get attached with code, and sometimes it's difficult to be to let it go and understand that this is not your son. It is someone else's, and you are helping. You are paid for help to build that code,
mhm.
not something that it's exactly yours. So I think I don't know if that is common for everyone, but I feel myself on this on this
Yes,
journey of maturity to understand that.
yes, I definitely know it. So I was also very attached to my code. I call it my code, although it's not my code. And it took time to understand. Okay, we are in a team, so everyone has the right to change and to improve it. And in that case, it's also very important this understanding within the team to have the same um, quality mind or quality mindset, and that we agree upon certain best practices that we are doing it in the same way, and then we have got less discussions if we have got a common base to build upon. So
And sometimes
Yes.
it's cumbersome to get into to converge, right?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, because sometimes for the company, it's better if you deliver faster, not to deliver better code. So you
Hmm,
have
That
to to balance this,
that
true.
right?
maybe
that
for
was what I'm going to
startups,
mention.
maybe you mentioned maybe for startups it's even more important to bring up out the first product, and then later you
Exactly.
can first thing
MVP.
is to gain some customers, and then you have got the money to make
Yeah,
more.
and not even startups, because sometimes startups they tend to care more about the technology that you're using, to use up to date technologies that perform faster,
Mm.
even more than banks they are still in the soap, they're still in cobol, and they looking just for a business perspective. The company owner doesn't care at all if you're using the latest technology or the latest Java version. They just care how much earning will these services give to his business. But on the other hand, you need to make the business guys see that if they are working with an old legacy serves with a lots of vulnerabilities that can become a headache that will bring them loss of money. It can be cause a hacker attack the system, or it can be to unavailability because the service weren't able to scale to deliver to a huge demand. So like Luis, I believe Luis or Hugo mentioned, there's a balance between delivering value, what the company really needs about money, and improving the technology. And mm, the companies that only focus on high-end technology, we are always up to date, they tend to fail. And the other ones that are only looking to profit money and our systems are like they were 10 years ago, probably they don't evolve, they just stay how they are. If they are very protect because they will suffer from vulnerability attacks probably. What do you guys think?
Yeah, bringing back the also the subject about refactoring, I think it's very important to understand also the state of the project, because sometimes we need to deliver fast, and if it's this is the case, maybe you do not have time to refactor, and then you have dev techs that should be addressed on the future, and this happens. Unfortunately, this happens. There is nothing that we can do about that. Sometimes there is no option. However, there is one important thing, in my opinion, that the developer should always do. That is testing. Testing is crucial. If you do not do test, okay, you are creating a code that will go to the production and no one will be able to maintain without create bugs. If this is the thing that you want, go ahead, no problem. Otherwise, you need to have test. Test it's very, very important. Having a mass code, it's not the ideal thing. It's really bad. And knowing how to code clean code, I think it's the better way. So you can always create clean code. However, sometimes the requirements change and you need to do the refactor. And if you do not have time to do that, okay, you have dev techniques and you need to fix that in the future. It happens, but having test, in my opinion, is crucial.
Yeah, about tests, Thiago, there's something that I tend to see in the last years. I do see less and less the QA role. There have been two or three companies that I've worked that they don't have a QA in the teams at all. Only the developers.
But
Maybe
I
and
think I think this changes a lot about the size of the company and also the project. I don't
yeah.
know nowadays with company you are working on the project, but if it's startups, projects, and things like that, chances are that you are not going to have a QA.
Yeah, yeah, but that affects the testability of the
Yeah,
services. That affects. Maybe we do have our guys here. What we can use if there are anything with AI that could help in this QA paper, if there are, because. Um, do you guys know about something that can, I would not say replace the QA figure, but if you don't have a QA, oh, there's an agent, there's a service that if you enters there's certain business cases, it will stress the test. Of course, I'm not talking about G meter. I'm talking more about would be kind
I
of a
think
cucumber.
I don't know if the others won't say anything about AI, but I think, in my opinion, AI can help you to generate things. He can generate the class, the test, maybe unit test or any other test that you want to. But I think the most important thing is the behavior. And
Yep,
who knows the behavior is
the
usually
business,
it's you. Yes, the business and you, of course, because I think you need
of
to
course.
know the
You're
business
coding.
to code. Yeah,
Yeah,
this should
but
happen.
my question was if which tool can I input, what is the expected behavior, and then it starts to stress the
No,
service in
but
different
yeah,
ways.
the thing I think, in my opinion, sometimes it's not possible. Think about you have some API that concerns three APIs. The AI will not know what is the expected things that these three APIs will return. So it will not know the input and output from these three APIs unless you give
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
this information. This
yeah.
is an option to give out this context. But again,
That,
I don't know. I think AI help us to generate the scratch, the draft, and then we can work on. But I don't know if Hugo and Luis know into that can
yeah,
help.
maybe they can bring us because I do know how we create scenarios as developer. Integration tests, unit tests, you can simulate external service, you have Warmock, you have other tools, you have test containers that you can simulate a lot of environments and have them running into your application in your build itself. That's great, but thinking outside of the service, and since we're mentioning AI as a helper, if there are any tools, if you guys know, that can help us even not only on refactoring the code but for testing the code as well.
Well, I haven't tried anything in scale, but I believe that best use of AI is filling the gap for the when we do create a BDD or something using the Gherkin syntax to specify what is expected to some specific feature. So we do still write some level of structured code or structured thing that can express it, that can be converted later into the test, into the coding test. And I think AI would be very interesting to see AI filling that gap. And probably you can create those behaviors. You can express it in an easier way in a natural language, and AI will create the code that is compatible with the code base and can make some tests. Of course, every step you probably will need to review if it's addressing correctly, but start to bring closer what we usually needed some different team to be creating the specification, the QA step, and running it. Yeah, so I think that's a interesting part, and I'm pretty sure that those services we already have, those models that we do already have, uh, they already are totally capable to do such kind of results, to bring such kind of results.
Okay.
Now, about tools for refactoring. IntelliJ has a built-in tool that can help you a lot, and you can use SonarQube, SonarLint. You have some different names, but it's from SonarQube that helps a lot with refactoring. Yeah, a
Yeah,
simple
I've
tool
used
that
that.
helps a lot.
I've used. You have the Sonar Lint plugin. It highlights stuff right into the IDE. And if you want to, you can bind your project with a Sonar Cube instance running locally in your Docker machine,
You
and
have
then you will have,
pipelines.
yeah, you have even more insights about the vulnerabilities that are in the code. And it's for those that never used SonarQube. It has some categories of issues, from critical to high to major to medium to minimum, and just warnings. At many companies, they have these Sonar Cube in the pipeline, and the project, your pull request will not build or will not be merged into the code base if they don't get approved on these items, at least on the critical and major items. So they
Yeah.
can also be added into the pipeline build as well.
And
Yes,
something that
that's.
I liked. Sorry, go ahead, Chen.
No, I just wanted to make a short comment that that's what we have. So this quality gate, exactly
Right.
Yeah.
in the pipeline.
That's the name, the quality gate.
Something that I really like about these plugins, like SonarLint, that uh, it shows you like a documentation to help you like understand why it is suggesting those changes in your code. It is awesome because you can learn from it, and
Yeah,
then you can decide if you do the refactoring or not.
yeah. Maybe the suggestion doesn't make sense, or maybe that's a critical one, or maybe you already know that you're lacking performance on something, but you don't care because it's a small project, but it's up to you to do the change or not. Usually, those criticals you always do the change most of the times for compliance, especially if it's going to the a code base on production.
Yeah, and most of refactoring that uh, we talked, it is most of them is addressable by this static analysis, right? I think there are very advanced suggestions. They see also, for example, cyclomatic complexity. So number of ifs that is inside another. So and they already suggest a better way to write it. And one thing that I also think works better is when you start a project with those things already configured in your environment. So you don't you will avoid having to refactor stuff that could be avoided earlier or before you're even starting to create that refactorable code.
Mhm. It's a new project, yes,
Yeah,
that's helpful. Yeah, but now since we mentioned a lot about stuff here, I wonder myself how long, or if that's already Sonar Cube AI that will get that list and start to change all the issues automatically if it does not exist yet.
I haven't heard of AI from SonarCube. I think there are some changes that you can actually already trigger to automatically fix in your project, but I'm not 100% sure. I think I see something related to that, and you can click on the button, apply it, and then it will start to change your code base. But I haven't tried myself yet.
Uh, uh,
Mhm.
where did you see that, Hugo?
I think it is feature. I don't remember if it's SonarCube or it is something from SonarLint. But some of those I know that has such kind of feature that you can apply those suggestions
You
automatically.
each one, right? Not then all.
Oh yeah, each one. I think it was each.
Okay. And regarding that, we have a question from Anderson here. Can you talk about the amount of effort we need to put in code review, in clean code, and as Luis said, quality gate from SonarLint should be addressed by this technique, in your opinion? I believe it depends, on my opinion, from company to company, how much they want you to focus on code review. I do have a philosophy when I work with bigger teams that try to keep your pull requests smaller as possible. It's better to divide the pull requests in smaller ones regarding to smaller features instead of having a huge pull request that will take too much time of the reviewer because they will tend to postpone this review. And
Yeah,
go on.
about that. Yeah, about that. I think it's. I like the answer depends because depends answer most of the things in IT. But yeah, it depends. Also work here, but I think it's very important to understand why do you need, why do you want to do code review? What is the purpose of code review? And then you can calculate the amount of effort. If the code review, like you said, if you have, for example, 60 files, so you have or 100 files, many files, maybe you should do pair programming instead of try to review the PR, the entire PR in at once. So maybe you can do pair programming. And one of the main things about code review is to identify bugs, to guarantee that the code it's working as properly. So you have like you're following the code style that can be done by the pipeline, because of course if you can have a pipeline with everything it's better, but some kind of things the pipeline it's not able to do. So this is why you need to do a review and identify things that it's impossible to have in a pipeline, so you can learn from the code, you can identify bugs, and you can also identify patterns that are not being followed and it's not be possible to have in the pipeline. I think this is maybe the main things that you have to think about when you are doing the code review, and the for that you take the amount of time, it will depend.
Yeah,
I
and
go ahead.
especially just finishing about it.
Yeah,
It
it's
not
about.
here the clean code if it should be addressed by this technique. I believe that he mentioned code review. Not sure if you
Yes,
mentioned.
yes. During the code review, you need to identify these patterns, these clean code uh, tricks, tips, whatever these ways
Yeah,
to do clean code, and you should identify here, for example, many things that clean code have, many tips that you can apply to have a code that it's uh,
readable.
clean, let's say that, readable,
Yeah,
and also clean, let's say that. To do that, maybe the sonar will not be able to address these kind of
no,
things in some points, and then having this review and identify these kind of things, for example design patterns, maybe you are able to look and say, oh, here we need to use a design pattern because in the future I know that you are going to have a feature that will need to be here, and then it's better if you create a strategy right now. So you just think about something that it's impossible for a tool to identify because the tool doesn't know that, even if
yeah.
it's AI or anything. So
The
yeah.
sonar lint will help you to address issues, most of them that are related to security, to vulnerabilities. These kind of issues are to change deprecated or just change some stuff that they are not they are not recommended. The sonar lint or sonar cube will not tell you, oh, this code is not a clean code or not readable code. So yeah, code review will help you that with that much better.
And and about code review yet, I don't know if everyone does that, but one thing that worked very well for me, it was when I start to use code review, not to review actually the code, but to understand if the developer that are delivering that feature understand everything that it needs, and if he understands if he is following the standard, the pattern that we agreed to follow on the architecture. So for that, and for avoid long big PRs as well, every code review I do with my developers, it was a while that I don't have to do code review because I changed a bit the role. I'm more technical manager, but when I had to do a code review, actually I asked, I don't see anything on the code. I asked him to explain for me what he made and what was the idea behind what he made, and if there is something odd or being very far from what was expected on the architecture, we do address in this conversation. So every time I try to do this uh, more uh, conversational. Don't need to do every code review. Actually, some code review that is small enough, you understand yourself, and then you can approve it without investing some time, a lot of time. But some PRs are more critical or have more things, are bigger, and you need to make sure that not just the other side understand if it's all following what you are expecting. And when I do this code review, I sometimes I do call the whole team, so we make some kind of sharing understanding with everyone and reinforcing the standards. So it works better when it's a small team. Usually, I was 3 to 4 developers in the team. So if it's too big, it is some limitations, right?
Yeah, it's harder to merge all of that code, have all of
Yes.
that reviewed, especially if you're there. There are some roles of tech leader. I don't tend to like that too much when they concentrate all of the pull requests to the tech leader to review, because you have 3 or 4 developers working. Here's my pull request and mine. So the guy will spend the whole day reviewing code. Maybe give them more advice, pair programming like Thiago mentioned, so they will have more autonomy to write clean code from scratch.
So, sorry about that. I think we are talking about another subject. Maybe if the audience want, we can talk about uh, code review and this kind of thing. I like this subject. I
Yep.
think it's important. Most of
Mhm.
developers does that, but just
Yeah.
to don't go to
It,
another
it,
path because we can spend 1 hour just talking about that because there are
yeah.
Yeah,
many things to
Well,
talk about.
we
if
already
we look
exceeded
time,
today. Mhm.
we are over time right now. So we just started a new session, guys, about code reviewing. The past hour was about refactoring, and now it's about code review. No, just kidding, guys. Andres mentioned about sonar linked warns about code smells. Yeah, that was mentioning about kind of issues related to security. That's how they call those. They
Yeah,
call it
yeah,
code smells.
yeah. Actually, like Andra said, Sonar can help with security issues and with many things related with clean code. For example, dry. If you repeat your code many times, there is a space in Sonar that will tell that you
It
have many
works.
duplications.
Exactly.
So yes, this also helps a lot, and many code smells that will help you to clean and make it uh, clean because you help you to clean many code smells that it's things that it's not very good. However, Sonar are not able to do a perfect thing. Like if you have already variable called XPTO or ABCD, probably Sonar will not complain about that. And if you have a method, for example, with 5 parameters, it's okay. And if you have many other kind of things that maybe a human can identify, like I said before, identify that in the future you need something and then you can use a design pattern, this Sonar will not help. But for me, Sonar it's a must have. It helps a lot. So I do agree we need to have Sonar linked. It can also identify bugs. Usually it's very easy bugs, but it can help us, like pointer exceptions and things like that. But yeah, it helps us with some code smell, but not all of them.
Yeah.
And we talked about the balance. So I like to use the Sonar lint for that, but only if I have time left for that task. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Maybe if you have a quality gate in your company, like Tila mentioned, that you're mandatory to not deliver or to introduce code smells into the code. So you need to go through that. But if you don't, and that can be done in a step after, maybe like we guys mentioned, you're in a startup and you're working on an MVP. You don't need to have that very secured, because that's not going to production. That's just a test. The issue happens when your businessman tells you, I like this MVP. It's working fine, like as we have expected. Just put that on production. But that's not ready for production. It needs to go refactor. No, 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 no. It's ready. It's working awesomely. Just put that to your customers. I'm pretty sure everyone here has heard about that. Hugo is laughing there because you have heard that sometimes. I did, but that's it, guys. That's it. That we do have a lot of things, a lot of tools that can help us to improve our code, to improve the refactoring, and but even with all of these tools, you are the one that needs to know how to do the code, how to refactor, and these tools will help you. I don't remember exactly if that's a tool from SonarLint or from IntelliJ, but it tends to warn you when you have a block of duplicated code, even if that's on different classes. But that's also a part of refactoring.
IntelliJ, yeah, IntelliJ. Uh,
IntelliJ does that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I did that on last week. I got a old code. It has around 5 times the same logic. You don't need that. Just put that on a major class, and everyone calls that. Basics of refactoring, guys. Everyone did that before, and if you didn't, you will very soon if you're starting the development career. Uh, just to address our last comments here, we have last comments from Anderson. 7 parameters. He's complaining.
Yes, yes. The Sonar complains if you ultrapass some limit. I said
Yeah,
five because I think five there is no problem, but yeah, maybe seven or more. It
yeah.
does.
I saw that there were. She told thank you, Anderson, and thanks for all the audience that are still here with us until now. Uh, Anything else you guys want to share with our audience right now?
No, just thanks everyone, and maybe bring the phrase that Andres shared on the beginning. Just keep calm and refactor.
That's it.
It's that.
Nice
Above
one.
all, keep calm. You will need it. You will need it. Put the air conditioning on -10. Very
Eh,
cool and calm. Bring your water and breathe. Breathe.
yeah.
Meditate, because refactor takes time. And that's not easy, especially if it's from a legacy service. If that's a small refactor, that's even fun. Uh,
Yes, and don't blame your colleagues. Don't talk bad about them because
1
In the
minute to
future, probably this guy, it will be you.
yourself.
Someone in the future will refactor your code. So
Yes,
That's it.
that's
absolutely.
right.
So
Yeah.
write as it was a code for you. Because if you're going to refactor that code, write your code as if you were writing a letter of love to yourself. Because you'll read that code again. So better it's nice. You will not use love words because that's code, but you can look at that code and say, this guy did a great job. Do it yourself too. Everyone appreciated.
Yeah, this is
Cool.
the goal.
Okay.
That's it.
Guys, great. It's a pleasure to have you here. It was an awesome talk. I've learned a lot about many stuff here, even beyond refactoring. Thank you, Luis. Thank you, Tila. Thank you, Thiago. Thank you, Hugo. Any final words you would like to mention?
Yeah, thanks everyone for sharing comments and questions. And if you don't follow us yet on LinkedIn, please do that. I think maybe in the next days we will share with you a gift there, right? So it will be good if you follow us there. Thanks.
Awesome. When will be your talk in Soul Java Campinas about refactoring this?
On 26.
On February
Yeah,
26th?
February 26.
Awesome. So
And
if you're
because
around Campinas area, just join us in the Soul Java meetup about will be about code refactoring, right, Liz?
Yeah,
Will be you will be the main presenter on that meeting, or will be anyone with you together?
I think there will be like 2 or 3 talks, and I'm one of them.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome, awesome. So if you're around Campinas area in São Paulo, just join us on 26, right, Liz?
yeah.
Which time will be it? Which time starts and where it is?
It starts at 7 p.m.
7 p.m. And
Yes.
where is it on Luis? Do you know the place?
I'm not sure yet, but maybe in Bosch. Bosch. The
Ah,
company Bosch.
Bosch.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've been there, so I know the way. So great. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Luis. Uh, Anyone would like to add?
No, I
No,
think
thanks for the
I
audience.
Awesome, guys. So thank you for watching and see you on the next session of the Out of the Box Developer. Take care.
thanks.
Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.
bye
See
bye.
you.